Right, so this week in grammar, we've been focusing on irregular verbs. Yesterday, you learned about have, has, and had. Today, we're going to focus on do, does, and did. So let's learn a little bit more about how and when to use these irregular verbs. Do, does, and did are irregular verbs. Use do and does to tell about present time, so when something's happening now. Use did to tell about something that happened in the past. Let's take a close look at this chart and see how it focuses on the subject of the sentence and how it helps us figure out which irregular verb to use. So looking at the subject going down this side of my chart, the first subject we have is we. When we're using the subject we in a sentence, if it's a present tense sentence, we would say do. If it's happening in the past, we use did. The next example of a subject is Jacob, or he, she, and it. You'll notice these are all singular subjects, meaning there's only one. Whenever we use a singular subject like that, and it's in the present tense, we use does. In the past tense, we use did. The last example on the bottom, Haley and Lydia, or the subject they. Both of these subjects are plural subjects. There's more than one. We use do in the present tense and did in the past tense. The last slide has a few example sentences. Let's take a close look at each one. The first example says, Sophia did a great job on her writing journal yesterday. So you'll notice my subject is Sophia. I know this sentence is happening in the past because that keyword yesterday tells me it did. So I have to use did. The next example says, Aiden and Jacob did an amazing job on their adjective posters. My subject this time is Aiden and Jacob. And again, I'm in the past tense, and I use did. If you noticed on our chart, no matter what the subject is, if it's happening in the past, you always use did. Our next example says, Solera does many different creative things. So this time I have a single subject, Solera, meaning I have to use does. I could substitute Solera for she, and it would say she does many different creative things. Our last example says, we do our best work together. The subject is we. It's a plural subject, so we need to use do. All right, go ahead and work on your Reader's Notebook, page 116. Take your time. Think about what sounds correct as you read back your answers. Great job.